for the Shop Report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. If you're up and around and you're out and about and you want to give us a shout, that number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Once again, that number to call is area code 267-687-0026. As always, we want to remind you that the Shop Report is now being brought to you by none other than the fine folks over at Rocket Digital. If you find yourself in need of services such as marketing consulting, media production, social media advertising, and a host of other digital services, hop on over to their Facebook page at RDM Detroit. Once again, that's at Robert David Mary Detroit, and tell them Jay from the shop sent you. Oh, and if you're like mine, you can check out their website, rocketdigital.net. That, once again, is Rocket, R-O-C-K-I-T, digital.net. Joining me on the P-Rogram today is none other than my cat from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park. Brother Rich, what's happening, man?
How's the weather in Dallas? I hope it's good up there with you and the family. I know the Cowboys are going through a little rough time right now, but I'm always honored to be on with you. And don't worry about it. Y'all will get through it. How about them Cowboys? Go Dog Pound.
You know what? I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm just adding up all the stuff you and Double J doing. I'm telling you, I've been keeping a track record. Y'all going to pay for every, mark my words. I'm a word is bond type of guy. Y'all going to pay for that. And on the other side of the ledger, we got my man from up north, Joey James, a.k.a. Double J. Tell the people what you say.
Definitely want to spend a moment to give a shout out to our co-host here, Brother Rich, out there on the Best Coast. And, of course, to you, sir, Lil Jerry and the Kettle.
And then we also have today on the show is my man D. Gully from the CO Bus. Gully, what the deal be? Say something smart here.
Everything is, well, you know what? I wasn't born stupid. I wasn't born at night. I wasn't born last night. I was born that night. But I'll just go ahead and leave it to those guys because they gave you enough Cowboys medicine for you. So I'm glad to be here and enjoy all of it. Thank you.
You know, I'm so glad I got on boots in the house because all three of y'all, boy, it's getting deep. And then last but not least, we got my man, host and creator of the Value of Self podcast, who has also been on the show here, the Shop Report, a time or two. My cat, Leon L. Dog. What it do, cat?
What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing? Double J, Brother Rich, Gully, how y'all doing?
Yeah. You ain't got to say hi to them, man.
Honored to be on with you, sir. Honored to be on with you.
Yeah, you ain't got to say hi to them.
Very well. Very well.
Hey, and Gully, let me before we get started, let me point something out to you. And let me actually say to Double Rich and Brother Jay, yeah, I said that purposely that way. If y'all gonna quote my lines, get it right. I was born last night, but if you won't go home tonight, then you're gonna get a whooping. And it might, man, listen here.
That's not your line. See, that's
okay, but that's what you sounded like.
Second of all, if I say it and I stutter it, forgive me, charge it to my head, not my heart. I quoted that correctly. Third of all,
here we go.
Everybody got a plan until they get hit. I quoted that one. And if you want to learn about that one, we can do that. But, hey, you know what? Let me be calm and find my place.
Man, I'm a Sandinistan gorilla. You don't know who you messing with. Anyway, can we get to some of these action today? Thank you very much. And then, again, if you're going to say my line, say it right. Anywho, or should I say meanwhile, back at the ranch, we all are experiencing turmoil, chaos at this time in the country. When I first started putting together the show notes for this particular episode today, as always, because sports is what we do here, I had a few sports topics I wanted to throw into today's show. But the closer we got to actually coming on the air live here today, my energy in regards to that, it changed. So today's show is all no sports intended. And the subject, of course, is not just what happened to Greg Floyd and his demise and his passing, unnecessarily his killing or his unnecessary killing, but all of the other stuff that has taken place in the fallout from, once again or yet again, another black man dying at the hands of the police. So today's show is strictly no sports intended. And we start the show off today with the dude at or in, quote unquote, that house down there in D.C. I saw an article or the headline to an article, and once I got to reading the article, I was like, wow. Oh, and at some point in the show, I'm going to read to you all the lyrics to the song that I've been so often trying to get people to understand and how it's pertinent to what's going on today, even though the album came out in 1999, I believe. The Black on Both Sides album by Mos Def, one of my favorite artists, by the way. That song in particular called Mr. Nigga. But when we get to that, I'll let you all know when we get to that point. But back to the 45. I see that he's considering, or it was said that he's considering, the Insurrection Act. Brother Rich, we'll start with you. Would you like to maybe elaborate on this Insurrection Act and how could 45 implement such an act?
Well, legal scholars have begun to weigh in on this, and they say he does have the authority. The question is, will the American people stand by while he does such? And we have to remember that the president that we have currently is and has manifested and fashioned himself after dictators and fascists and that form of rulership where I'm the boss and what I say goes and you can't buck me. And this is the kind of leadership manner and style that President Trump continues to exhibit in everything that he does. So we can't be surprised that as the man who ultimately is the commander of the military, he may well decide that I'm going to command the military to do this because, as he said about the football players, as he said about so many other things that he does not like, he wants to dictate. He doesn't want to debate. He doesn't want to discuss. This is a man who, if you don't do what he wants on one of his construction sites, he's noted for not even paying the contractors because they tell him I'm not going to pay you because I disagree with one thing you did. So he has the power of his office backing him as the commander-in-chief, which is one of his executive titles. He may very well opt to do that if the unrest seems to go on for several days, because if it continues to go on, he knows and they know it continues to threaten the economy, which then threatens his reelection. So you can expect anything from him. He's a wild man. And he's that kind of king. He's that kind of ruler. And that's where his head is at. And we obviously see that. He's looking for any opportunity in which to push whatever button he can that lets people know I'm the boss.
Double J?
We have to look at how this becomes a possibility. First and foremost, it takes the consent. He can push that button when it comes to Washington, D.C. However, when it comes to the states themselves, it takes the governors to give him the authority to do so. So on a national level, I do want those who are listening to understand that there are protocols. It's not I make this decision and it instantly goes into effect. But most importantly, for those that are unaware, is that there is a clause in that doctrine that specifically states it cannot be used on its people.
Okay. Got you. Okay, got you. That's see, this is what we come here for, fellas. That's why you come to the shop. All right? You learn something new every day. Gully, what say you?
Brother Rich, Double J, have been very clear and very helpful in articulating just who the man is and what he's trying to do. The fact is, this is his character is being shown, and there are no more apologies available. By apologies, that means definitionally speaking, a defense or an explanation. There are no more apologies left for his character. from anybody, I feel like, on the right or on the center right, if you will, about the effectiveness of his policy. Because when it relates to an issue that affects the people, you see his character. Again, I mean, you saw it, we've seen it. I think we've seen a different side of Donald Trump since he's run for president than perhaps was there so naked to the eye before he ran for president. But going back to how he handled or his opinions about the NFL, when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling peacefully, he's shown his hand way too many times for us not to understand this is his type of character. To your point, Brother Rich, the fact that he's toyed with it is also a key indicator that he's going to try to press the issue to see what he could do to get it done. What loopholes can he get around to try to get that done? Right. Against, even to your point of being very abrasive, if you will, Double J, to the fact that you cannot do that on its own people. Well, guess what? I venture to say, certain calls to certain governors of certain states that have a certain political persuasion, they're going to get calls, and they're going to, and the appeal will be made. The fact that we are here in 2020 tells you something. Like, not to move too far beyond the point of your question, Barbershop, but the idea of it is too, I didn't know what it's like to be in a turmoil or turbulent state. I didn't know what the 60s looked like. I would have never understood. But I guess this is the same climate.
Right.
I thought it would be a bit more. I thought it would be a bit more starring or jarring, if you will. But it's not. It's like this moment. Like, this is where I hear the Rolling Stones "Give Me Shelter" like in my head, because I hear Marvin Gaye in my head. Like, these are the theme songs that play in my thoughts when I look at these stories every day, and I look at what's coming out of that office. That guy shown his hand, and if the Republicans who may have a chance, if they don't take some courage and think about another alternative for November, then we know exactly then anybody who feels like they're on the right side of things can expect somebody else to be in that office.
Absolutely.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Absolutely. Well said. Leon, what say you, man? This whole idea of considering the Insurrection Act.
You know what's so funny, man? Listen to, Double J, Brother Rich, and Gully bringing up some valid points and some very thoughtful dialect on this situation. But this is a funny thing. I'm going to say this to y'all. Donald Trump is America. He is, and it coexists with what we're dealing with now, as far as the issues that we're dealing with now, is that he is a walking insecurity. So, and a walking insecurity from the standpoint of this, if you don't, a person who is insecure in themselves, especially an insecure leader, and this is something I learned in serving in the military, how to spot a real leader, how to spot a real person of value, a person worth something, is a boss says, do this, a leader says, let me show you how to do this.
Right.
They show you the way before, they don't just take it, they walk that same path with you.
Gotcha.
So Donald Trump is the privilege of America and the insecurity of America from the standpoint of this. For long periods of time, throughout our lifetimes and our ancestors' lifetimes, they have that superiority complex. Just not only just a lot of white America, but just the system in general, and their relationship towards us, and relationship to how or what we deserve and what we're entitled to in their eyes. The ones that want to play their game and the ones that don't, how can I make the ones that don't want to get on? Just like the same goes back to the slavery, the house Negro, the field Negro. The house Negro is going to do whatever master wants to do. He's going to be compliant. But the field Negro, the person that causes problems, the person that does the daily work, and blood has been spilled to build this country. If he's not compliant, he's an issue. So we got to get rid of him in whatever shape or form. So in him coming up with that act, that speaks to the insecurity of the standpoint that you don't do what I want you to do. I'm gonna use my power to make you do what I want to do.
But what's interesting? Go ahead.
So it's like but it's to the point to where the system is now by what's been going on recently. People are tired of it. It's like, for example, gentlemen, if you put like a pot of water on the stove, right, and you start turning the fire up, right. For years, y'all been turning the fire up, turning the fire up, turning the fire up, turning the fire up, and like a kid, you know, when you was a kid, you was a troublemaker as a kid, you know what I mean, you keep pushing the limit to see how much you can get away with. You might have knew that spanking was coming, but you still want to see how far you can go before you can turn up.
Mm-hmm.
And for years, you've been turning that fire up, and now after a while, that pot is boiling. The lid is on it, but the pot is boiling. When you put a lid on something that's boiling, what's going to happen? It explodes after a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, Donald Trump is that lid, and America is the pot, and we're the water, and the water is exploding because it's tired. It's tired of, so him trying to put that act together, you know what I mean? That's his ego and an insecurity saying, I can't believe they have the guts to rebel. They're not going on what I want them to do.
Got you.
So this is what I'm trying to do.
Got you. You know, for me, man, personally, as a black man in this country, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Every day I walk out the door, and I didn't realize this until I got older or old enough to understand life to some degree, that this was going on when I first hit the cradle. I'm exhausted and tired from having every day I walk out the door, my life is on trial. And why? When I do all the things that society said I should do in order to, quote unquote, comply, if you would. I don't rob, I don't steal, I don't cheat, I go get it the way that they say you're supposed to go get it. I roll my sleeves up. I'm polite, I'm respectful, I'm all of those things. And yet and still, I get pulled over by the police and my heart is pumping 1,000 beats per minute, whereas prior to it was the normal 100 or 90 or whatever it is. Why? Why do I have to feel in fear of life or death at the hands of somebody else, and not because I've done anything to substantiate that possibly happening? I'm exhausted, man. Completely exhausted. But guess what, though? Like, I just saw a post a couple days ago, and I'm not going to say the dude's name, but this one particular cat was asking the question, how come America don't love us? Seriously? See, we don't all think alike, and we're not supposed to. But you have to change your thought process, I believe. I don't want America to love me. I could care less about America's love for me. How can you love something if you're America when the thing that America was built on is lies, deceit, dubiousness, all those things? They don't have nothing to do with love. So what you asking of America for something that America wasn't built on in the first place? But I tell you what I expect from America. I won't tolerate disrespect. I'm going to do something about that. Now, I'm not going out of my way to get in your way. I don't want no trouble, but I ain't running from none. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Because, again, you know, we done talked before about expressions and so on and so forth. People say, I treat others the way I want others to treat me. No. I treat others the way I expect to be treated, period. The customer's always right. Bull crap. If I'm being respectful to you, then you having been old enough to know better on the other side of that counter, then it's a certain level of respect. You got to come with it. You got to bring some to get some. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? I'm done being disrespected by America and then tiptoeing around it when I ain't did nothing in the first place. I'm done with that. Again, I'm not going to go out of my way to get in nobody else's way. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? But this 2 weeks ago, and I didn't tell you all of this, I had a dude hit me with the go back to Africa. Let me tell you how many times I've experienced. Yeah.
Whoa, that's a deep one.
Yeah.
You threw that one out. That's an old nigga, but a goodie.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And I can't even tell you how many times I've heard that throughout my life, and I'm 50. But I dealt with it. Yeah, you know, ignorance and that type of deal, and which is what it is. But I said, man, you know what I told the dude right in the store? I said, look, man, I didn't ask to be here. That shows your ignorance. Give me them car keys. Give me your car keys. I'll go back. I'll drive this mother all the way to the end of the ocean and then swim the rest of the way. I don't want to be here no way. You know what I'm saying? You make me come to your house and then tell me to go home. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, I'm tired. Hey, keep that stuff over there. Don't come over my way with it. And I ain't one of them people to say, when I see certain events taking place, it was, of course, all the stuff that's going on now, I ain't one of them people say, yeah, if that was me, I'd do X, Y, and Z. I don't like doing that because you just don't know what you would do in a situation. See what I'm saying? But please don't force my hand. That's all I'm saying. Double J, we coming to you with this next one. Dabo Swinney, head coach for Clemson, came out and said he wants black, and I'm just not even paraphrasing here. I'm just summarizing, so to speak. The gist of it is he wants black folk, quote unquote, people of color, so to speak, to pray for the cops. Am I missing something here? Help me out, would you? Because that's asinine to me. But go ahead. Help me out, would you?
Well, you got to think back on how Dabo is a very religious individual. And, you're supposed to, in Christianity at least, you're supposed to ultimately
forgive,
be
turn the other
peaceful
cheek,
and ultimately pray for your enemy.
Right.
And so I understand maybe the intent that he had by that. However, given what each and every one of us are going through and the timing of it, I don't believe that was the right time, because as it stands, to my knowledge, at this very moment, there's 3 other individuals that we can say without a shadow of a doubt committed a crime on that day regarding Mr. Floyd, that are doing whatever they would like to do, are continuing to go about their day, and so justice has not been served. And so that's, unfortunately for me, he may have had meant nothing but positive by that, but unfortunately I can't give him the pass on this one, because
got you.
Why isn't this is part of my problem with all of this, is why is it the people of color that have to pray for him? Why isn't it them praying for us, as so to speak? Why is it always the people of color having to take the high road? When again, we look at in the historical context, this is a country that was absolutely built from the ground up with rebellion, first from England,
riot,
in fear of persecution, and overthrowing their dictator, by which of the the English government, and then later in life, we'll move on past that once again with the Boston Tea Party. We'll keep going here, and to the folks
Civil War
that have
even
stated, well, when we have issues, we don't destroy things. Let's have another. Let's take a look at what happened in Tulsa in the 1920s. Let's take a look at what happened when the quote-unquote slaves were being taken from these people. What did they do then? Did they destroy anything? They destroyed nearly the entire country by way of the Civil War. So I don't want to hear this nonsense that somebody has to look, religion aside, yeah, absolutely pray for your enemies, of course, but let's not fool ourselves in this nonsense that that these folks continue, have shown a history. And again, when Dr. King was savagely killed, it took 5 days of rioting before that 6th day something changed. We've taken knees. We've done it. We've protested peacefully,
right,
and nothing changed.
Right.
Here we are, nearly a week later, and there's still 3 guys sitting in their houses right now, to my knowledge, without a care in the world, that they can travel and move upon their free will.
Right.
that are guilty of committing a serious crime, and that is the problem. So if you have a problem with that, then you need to strongly reevaluate your views in this world. And that is why, for somebody like myself that has watched, the immigrants from Ireland, Poland, Germany, Korea, Japan, China, Mexico build this country. If someone wants to, knock it down when it was built off of their back, I don't have a problem with it, because you know why? Brick and mortar should never be above life. And that is where we are completely lost and disconnected as a society. And that is absolutely why on Friday I was absolutely in that front row, and I was completely disgusted to see those that have taken an oath to protect and serve push and savagely back people into a corner and ultimately use methods of by way of tear gas and amongst other things to, almost like it was you're trying to move cattle. It was disgusting. And again, I've seen it across this entire nation. And unfortunately, as we just discussed with the last question, the individual who can literally move that same market that he cares about so much with his word would rather opt to threaten
and pour gas on it. Pouring gas on the
I
fire.
Can change it. He could have. That was his moment, right then and there for me to say, look, if you want to really just have a slaughter, if you really care about re-election that much, do the right thing. Just this one time, do the right thing.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that way, Double J, because, and Brother Rich, we're going to come to you next. My thing is, for people like him, for him and people like him and those, let me slow it down. Let me say it this way. For people like him, those who think, for him and people who think like him, there we go. Ooh. What's really, really gonna get his attention or get their attention, quote unquote, is what took place this is just my opinion, when Rosa Parks refused to get up her seat and then the fallout with the bus company after that. I know it's tough. We all like to go out to eat still, and we all like to do things, spend money in places. But stop. You got to hit their bottom line. That's all they care about is the bottom line. When they get the message, when they start losing ducats. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not buying nothing that I don't need to buy, other than if I can afford to, or if I can find somebody else to buy from who's worthy of my dollars. That's where my dollars is going. But you're not getting my dollars on the regular, or you're not getting my dollars just like you was before all of this. That's how, to me, in some shape or fashion, that's how the message need to be sent to them. That's how you get the message across to them. See what I'm saying? And I understand the folks, burning up the jails and so on and so forth. Am I saying I would be one of the people? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I prefer the power of the pen, because it is mightier than the sword. Brain will rule over brawn any day and every day, as far as I'm concerned. But I ain't mad at nobody for saying, look, you all, I don't know how, a couple of you all on the panel here are maybe a little younger than I am, but there was a movie, Brother Rich, I know you probably remember. There was a movie called 1978. You remember that movie with Faye Dunaway in them in it?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
And you remember the guy who or was it called Network? Network 1978 or something like that.
No, I don't.
But you know the movie I'm talking about.
If it's the one you would say Dunaway you're talking about, I seem to remember that. I can't say I remember what it's about, but I remember having heard of it and seeing it around. Yes,
okay.
I do remember that.
Okay, the gist of it is, it was about, and I want to say Network, because I remember these people, it was the lives of these people all worked at a TV station, okay? And you know how they tell different stories about different characters in the movies' lives individually, so on and so forth. But they all worked at a TV station. And there was this one guy, he was a little older guy. And he was following the company line and doing the company rule and all of that. And then one day he went on the air and said, you know what? And you all need to look this movie up because maybe it came out in 1978. Maybe I got my numbers and stuff too. But the message in that movie is pertinent to today as far as the people are concerned. This dude went on the air and said, look, and told the people, I want you to stick your head out the window and tell the world you're not going to take this ish anymore. And I mean, and then they start showing scenes of people everywhere who was watching his program. They all start, and then all throughout the city, and then everybody was doing the same thing. Cars honking, there's people on the street. We're not going to take this stuff anymore. Listen, this what's got to happen, man. That's what's got to happen. When I saw all of the stuff that's taking place, my mind went straight to that movie. So pertinent to what's and apropos to what's going on today. We tired of doing the right thing and still having to die. One it don't match the other. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. What are you pulling me over for, officer? It looked like you were speeding. I got a governor on the car. What are you talking about? Oh, well, your tail light is out. Do you mind if I get out and take a look? No. I put your hands up. Don't say nothing. You going through all this? I ain't even. Hey, I was involved in a situation where the guy didn't even ask me nothing. As soon as he walked up on me, he popped a little snap on his gun. I seen him. Why I got to live like that? I'm a law-abiding citizen who every day is in fear of his life. Turn the channel, they say, make America great again. Where they do that at? Where they do that at? It's a bunch of bull. But again, Brother Rich, to you, Dabo Sweeney, you want black folks to pray for cops? Am I missing something here?
No, you're not missing anything, because what we are failing to understand here, I think, is that fundamentally, and I think our brother Leon said it, this is the American way. This is the American script. Sadly, nothing will change with our brother dying, being murdered in this unfortunate way, because the culture of policing will not change. America will not change. Hollywood's depiction of black men will not change. The unequal society in which we live will not change. The economic imbalances, the sexism, the racism, the materialism will not change. And until that changes, until America changes, and for America to change, America would have to be willing to sit down and have a serious conversation with herself, which she is not willing to have with herself. Mind you, Black America needs to have a serious conversation with itself and ask, why are we the people always in this condition? And fundamentally, there's some things that we have failed to accept about ourselves. That, yes, we are in a particular position, but there's some things we need to talk about and be honest about with ourselves. Why do we continue to be in this condition year after year, after week, after week, after month, after 400 years, after 400 years? So, yes, you said it. Brother Leon said it. I'm sure Gully would say it. Double J would say it. I would say it. We would all weigh in and say the same thing. We're tired. Yes, we're tired. Those young people are tired. The world is tired. People are tired. But what are people tired of? People are tired of the system. It's not just police brutality. Police brutality is allowed in a system, a system of materialism and racism and sexism, and where billionaires and multi-billionaires and trillionaires, and we brag about this kind of madness existing when teachers cannot get supplies to teach our children.
Yeah, got
Until
you.
those things change,
Got you.
nothing else changes. So this is just a symptom of the coronavirus that's killing America and choking the lungs of America, and America is on a deathbed as we're speaking right now.
I'm with you on that. Well said. Yes, indeed. That's the shop report y'all listening to. My man, Brother Rich bringing the noise. Double J. Leon, we coming to you with it, man. Dabo Sweeney say you want black folk to pray for cops. Help me out, man. Help me out.
Oh, man. Nah, I mean, this is the thing. First of all, Double J and Brother Rich both said some very powerful things, man. Very, very dope things. And back to the Dabo Sweeney thing, I mean, morally, you should always pray for somebody, you know what I mean, even they do wrong to you. But like Double J said, he had the right intent, but it was the wrong time to say something like that. And you only, as America, man, like, it's so funny. Like, I was at work and I put this on a post, I think Saturday. I posted this on Facebook Saturday. And James, Brother Rich, and even Gully can answer this question as well, and probably Double J as well. But I systematically went around my job, the post office, and I asked 10 dudes, 10 black guys, and I just kept it simple. So I asked guys who were under the age of 40. I simply just asked them, have they ever had an experience like this? Have they ever had to experience a bad interaction with a cop, a bad interaction with the system, a bad interaction?
Yeah, I saw that post.
Where you felt you was being harassed. And 8 out of the 10 guys said yeah. So that's 80%. So I'm pretty sure if you do your own research and you talk to 10 guys, you have that same question and them same similar results, and that's the problem. When too many brothers have
similar experiences,
an experience.
Yeah.
Too many brothers have a bad experience, and we lucky to talk about it, the ones who have had an experience. We lucky to be able to walk away looking at things.
Right.
In hindsight, some brothers didn't walk away. We were able to walk away, but that experience of dealing with that, the experience of how you felt in that interaction, that all the emotions you felt in dealing with that, the embarrassment, the anger, the hurt, the frustration, the feeling powerless. Like you knew you had nothing you can do about it because you was caught in a situation where you was out of your control.
Yeah, I'm done.
And you really felt helpless. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's
so. It's so many people had that experience. People are tired. So when people are tired, and it's two things in life. And I learned this from being in the military, and also just through my reading and just through learning reading different books and analyzing different leaders, dictators, stuff like that. Not analyzing them, but just learning how they thought. Because I'm all about the mind, how a person's mindset. Because a person's mindset dictates how they move.
As a man thinketh,
it dictates. But it deals with they playing chess or they playing checkers. So when I would look and I would see that, and I would see how people would move and how things would do, it gives you an ideology of the things that's forthcoming, and it gives you ideology that when a person is feeling insecure and not feeling right about themselves, when they do get a position of power, a position of authority, they're going to dictate. It's like the bully syndrome.
Yeah.
Most bullies are people who have been bullied in life.
Yeah.
So they kind of transfer that energy. Like you said earlier, James, something about energy. It's a transfer of energy because energy never dies. It just transfers. So, and throughout life, this society, this is an energy that's been transferred from generation to generation to generation to generation to generation. So it's like that energy has been building up. And unfortunately, now you're at a point to where it's a saying that I read recently that made me laugh, but it was the truth. And the different way society is now is we're not our ancestors. We'll mess you up.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And so it's like now people are like, or maybe our uncles or aunts or grandparents or great grandparents might have been intimidated by you or feared you. We don't fear you because we know in reality you really fear us because, you know what I mean? Because you're scared of what we really could be. So that little badge or that little system or that little privilege is your way of dictating that authority back. But when you realize that that person ain't fazed by it or they're not falling for it, kind of like Donald Trump with the act he was talking about, to where you feel like now that you're not doing what I want you to do, I'm gonna dictate what I want to do. And when a person gets to dictate, especially in a democracy, supposedly country, it's not going to work, and it's going to blow up in your face. And now it's blowing back in your face because it's not a part of your agenda. It's not a part of your plan.
Indeed. Gully, what say you, man, in Dabo's quote-unquote black folk praying for cops?
What Dabo Sweeney was trying to do was trying to find a positive way, I believe, or my thought is, he's trying to find a positive way to deal with our frustration. I don't think his should be the totality of what needs to happen here. But meaning that pray and be. What I'm saying is, I don't think if we were to take Dabo Swinney literally, that we should be in a position to say we're gonna pray for them and then that'll be it. We're just gonna be in prayer. Everyone's gonna go to their church or their synagogue or their mosque or their temple and pray and pray and pray and basically meditate to their incarnation of the higher power, and then things will change. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way completely. Okay. What we need to also understand is, like you just brought up, about the idea of comparing who we are as a people now versus our parents and grandparents, is that we're not our grandparents, we'll mess you up. We need to understand something, right? And while Dr. Martin Luther King and his nonviolent movement is the preferred choice of how people would like to see us protest, we need to understand that the reason why let me say it this way, because I've been dying to get this out, and you've given me a reason to say it. The nonviolent protest was his way of protesting, meaning that was the method they chose. Back at that time, Black America did not have access economically or did not have access economically to the things that would have been able to give us the plentiful or the vast amount of munitions that could have been used had we had that, in order to make that protest more assertive. Okay? He chose that method. Okay, remember, people got to remember, there was a time in which he had considered himself owning a gun because he got tired of his house being threatened by the KKK. And only because of making sure to maintain the proper perspective that Coretta Scott told him, no, you can't have one. If you told people not to have one, you can't have one. Had America looked a little bit different at that time, we would never have the nonviolent movement, the nonviolent protest that everyone wants to think should be the acceptable, quote unquote, way to protest. Okay, so with so to compare that with Dabo Swinney to Martin Luther King, that's fine, but that is not all that needs to be done. There has to be some action. We have to have some action. We have to unite as a people collectively, like you said, Brother Rich, and figure out how we're going to address this, because it has to stop. Since we've been waiting for certain people in our society to change or to die with this idea, and it hasn't happened yet, it is high time that we have to force the action. Does that mean it needs to get violent? Does that mean it needs to? I pray not. But we've been passive all this time, and that man died last Monday like that.
Hey, this is why we come here, y'all. Is listening to the Shot Report. Again, if you're up and around, you're out and about, you want to give us a shout, that number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Once again, that number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Fellas, y'all bringing the heat today. And that's what I'm talking about. There ain't no other way to do it but how we do it at the shop. Making its debut in 1999, Mos Def's album, Black on Both Sides, in my opinion, reflects the current political landscape. And let me read to you in one song in particular from that album, titled Mr. Nigga, N-I-G-G-A. Now, let me preface that by saying, before I go any further, I don't like the term period, okay? Because in this country, the N-I-G-G, well, of course, the E-R, has been it's associated with black people. But it's not a person. It's a state of mind. Period. Right? But in this country, again, the association is, you say that word, it's them. That's them. No, it's anybody who acting like I can't even say the words, okay? But let me read to you all the lyrics from Mr. Nigga and why, again, it reflects the current political landscape. and it's connected to all of what we see that's going on here. And I won't read the hook. The chorus and whatnot. I'm just going to read the hook. And he goes, and check it out now. Who is the cat eating out on the town and make the whole dining room turn their head round? Mr. Nigga. He got the speakers in the trunk with the bass on crunk. Who be riding up in the high-rise elevator. Other tenants who be praying that he ain't the new neighbor. Mr. Nigga. They try to play him like a chump because he got what they want. The second verse, he's under 30 years old, but already he's a pro. Designer trousers slung low because his pockets stay swole. That means he got dough. Could afford to get up and be anywhere he go. VIP at the club, backstage at the show. Yes, y'all, the best crib, the best clothes. Hottest whips on the road, necks and wrists on froze. Say word, meaning if you see his neck, he got the jewelry, and on his wrist, he got the bling bling. Check with OOOs. Straight all across the globe. His watch got 3 time zones. Keep the digital phone up to his dome. 2 assistants, 2 bank accounts, 2 homes. 1 problem. Even with the O's on his check, the popo stop him and show no respect. Is there a problem, officer? Damn straight. It's called race. That motivate the Jake, woo, to give chase. Say they want you successful, but that ain't the case. You live in large, your skin is dark, they flash a light in your face. Now, who is the cat dining out on the town? Maitre D want to take a whole year to sit him down. Mr. Nigga. He got the speakers in the trunk with the bass on crunk. Now, who is the cat at Armani buying wares with the tourists who be asking him, do you work here? Mr. Nigga. Yo, the abstract with the mighty most deaf. White folks gotta mumble the chorus beneath their breath. I didn't say it, but they'll say it out loud again when they get with their close associates and friends. You know, sneak it in with their friends at the job, happy hour at the bar, while this song is in their car. And even if they've never said it, lips stay sealed. Their actions reveal how their hearts really feel. Like, late night, I'm on a first-class flight. The only brother in sight. The flight attendant catch fright. I sit down in my seat 2C. She approach officially talking about, excuse me? Her lips curl up into a tight space because she don't believe that I'm in the right place. Showed her my boarding pass, and then she sort of gasped, all embarrassed, put an extra lime on my water glass. An hour later, here she come by, walking past. I hate to be a pest, but my son would love your autograph. Wow, Mr. Nigga, I love you. I have all your albums. They stay on nigga patrol on American roads, and when you travel abroad, they got war nigga law. Some folks get on a plane, go where they please, but I go overseas and I get overseased. London, Heathrow, me and my people. They think that it's illegal, they think that illegal's a synonym for Negro. Faraway places, customs agents flagrant, they think the dark faces smuggle weight in their cases. Bags inspected, now we arrested. Attention directed to contents of our intestines. Urinalysis followed by x-rays. Interrogated and detained till damn near the next day. No evidence, no apology, and no regard, even for the big American rap star. For us especially, us most especially, a Mr. Nigga VIP jail cell just for me. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. Just got some shoe polish, painted my face. They say they want you successful, but then they make it stressful. You start keeping pace, they start changing up the tempo. Hold on, there's one more here. They again. Now, who is the cat riding out on the town? State trooper want to stop him in his ride, pat him down. Mr. Nigga. He got the speakers in the trunk with the bass on crunk. Now, who is the cat with the $100 bill? They got to send it to the lab to make sure the ish is real. Mr. Nigga. You can laugh and criticize Michael Jackson if you wanna. Woody Allen molested and married his stepdaughter. Same press kicking dirt on Michael's name, Michael Jackson, show Woody and Soon Yi at the playoff game, holding hands. Sit back and just bug. Think about that. Would he get that type of dap if his name was Woody Black? OJ found innocent by a jury of his peers, and they've been with that for the last 5 years. Is it fair? Is it equal? Is it just? Is it right? Do you do the same ish when the defendant face is white? If boys doing it, well, it's success. When I start doing it, well, it's suspect. Don't hate me. My folks is poor. I just got money. America's 5 centuries deep in cotton money. You see a lot of brothers caked up. Yo, straight up, it's new. Y'all living off slave traders' paper. But I'ma live, though. Yo, I'ma live, though. I'm putting up the big swing for my kids, yo. Got my mom the fat waterfront crib, yo. I'ma get her them pretty bay windows. I'ma cop a nice home to provide in, a safe environment for my seeds to reside in, a fresh whip for my whole family to ride in, and if I'm still Mr. Nigga, I won't find a surprise in. Brother Rich, holla at your boy.
I mean, the lyric, you said it all. The lyric said it all. He's describing conditions. He's describing how we're viewed. And no matter what the circumstances, I will only top that off by saying Muhammad Ali himself is quoted as saying, no matter where he went in the world, after all he had achieved, after the Olympic flame, after the Olympic rings, after the heavyweight titles, after being the biggest celebrity in the world, he said that he often found himself in America referred to as just that. He said once of himself, I'm still a nigga, brother. I'm still a nigga. Because no matter where he went, when he came back to good old America, he was still looked upon as a nigga. Every celebrity, every NBA player, every football player, every singer, everyone that you will run into, they have all had their nigga wake-up call. All of them at some point in time come into contact with a realization that in this context, even Oprah Winfrey in Paris, in a store with a mere store clerk, she's a billionaire, she's a mogul, she's a media empire in and of herself walking in the door. She has fans all over the world, and some little girl at a counter can tell her the store is closed and treat her just like a common nigga. So your song that you start out this segment with is absolutely appropriate, not only for this time, it tells us, and I'll close with saying this. We are here talking about why we are here and what happened to bring us all here to this moment in all our lives.
Exactly.
Where, from this day forward, this young man's death was unlike anything else. You have to look at that and say, what is that? That young man was not killed. He didn't die. He was absolutely murdered under the cover and color of law by a rogue, not a rogue police officer, by a police officer who knew that he could do that, and he could do it and be filmed doing it, and his fellow officers could stand around holding their chest belts and all this kind of nonsense while a human being counted down the hours and minutes and seconds of his life saying, I love you, mama. I love this one. I'm dying. I'll see y'all. I love y'all. Listen to what we are talking about now. We're talking about the entire planet looking at this and asking, where is the humanity of this? So Gully is saying, man, at some point in time, we can't take this foolishness no more now. At some point in time, this changes. And today is a moment in humanity where humanity got to look at ourselves and say, man, are we going to keep doing this, or is it all, we all Mr. Nigga now? You see? We all must be Mr. Nigga after this moment.
Hey, and let me add to that. And I've said this a time or two before on the show, but I'm going to bring it back up right here in this moment. Again, who on this program don't want to live a full life and get to see their kids have kids and their grandkids and so on and so forth and whatnot? But the reality is what Pastor Vernon John said before I even knew who Pastor Vernon John was. And he was, of course, the pastor at the Great Abyssinian Baptist Church in Alabama, I believe it is, before Martin Luther King, the same church Martin Luther King eventually became pastor of. He said, if a man is not willing to die for what he believes in, then he is not fit to live. Now, you let that marinate. Gully, what say you about the lyrics of Mr. Nigga by my man Mos Def?
Man, I mean, what more needs to be said? He captured the essence of what, unfortunately, it means to be black in America. And you guys might already know, I might think of things a bit differently politically, but I'm going to tell you something. There's been a few times where I know that cop don't know that me and him might agree because he's going to treat me differently. Allow me to rhyme a little bit because I've had that happen. You know, I had that happen where I didn't think the dialogue where I had to watch my words and be cautious. Like, why do we have to do that? Why do we live in a society where, depending on what color you are, you have to watch how you speak to positions of authority? Shouldn't we all have to watch how we speak to positions of authority the same way, or have the freedom or liberty to speak to positions of authority the same way? We don't have that, and we have got to change that. What Most Def is describing is the fact that that is our reality. That was our reality 20 years ago,
Yes.
21 years ago when that album came out.
Yes.
And it will remain our reality for the foreseeable future. And unless we actively do it, this might be our, tragic as it is, but necessary as it is, this might be our Emmett Till moment, a point in which you see it so egregious, you have no choice but to be compelled to really think about what it is you're doing. That's why Emmett Till's mother opened that casket. Because you had to look at the horror in its face. We got to see it on camera. This man calling for his mother who's deceased, talking about, I'm about to see you. We had to hear that. It was jarring. It's soul stirring. It is worse than a horror movie, because this actually happened. This could be me. This could be you. This could be you, Double J. This could be you, Barbershop.
Yeah.
This could be any of us.
Yeah.
And I don't want to let it be. And like the pastors say, we are compelled now, if it stirs us so much, once we've torn down enough businesses, once we've shot through enough mortar and torn it down, we have got to build more than just the stores. We have got to build a brand new foundation for how we choose to be dealt with and how we expect
For sure.
the rule of law
For
to
sure.
be executed.
For sure. And you know what, Double J, I'm going to come to you next. But before you respond, I just want to add this to you. Gully, when you lived here in Cleveland, remember when you lived in Garfield Heights, right? Every city has this, I'm sure. There are certain areas where you know, as a black man, when you're in your car, you better make sure if the speed limit say 25, you better be doing 5, right? Well, Garfield Heights is
Right.
one of them.
Don't do 26 in Linwood.
Exactly, don't. So I had the boys in the car with me one night. Now, it was at night. It was already dark, maybe 9 o'clock. We were coming over to kick it with you and Greg and Levon and y'all. And I came down.
Right.
I got off. I went off the 117 right there. And I looped around under the bridge, under the overpass, and I made the left in between behind where the canal and all that stuff is. And he would who is that? What police department is that over there? Garfield. That ain't Garfield. Is that Garfield Heights? No, it's one of the other jurisdictions. That's a
Independence or Independence, probably.
Okay. Well, whatever the case may be, I saw him when I made the left turn, but I made sure before we even got anywhere near the area, I told the boys, make sure y'all got your seatbelt on, sit up, don't be looking around on none of that, and so on and so forth. I had my seatbelt on in the whole 9. Now, I shouldn't say this probably on the air, but, I'm not a seatbelt wearer, so to speak. But anyway, buckle up for safety, right? I peeped him. I made sure I was creeping through that area where you get to the canal bridge, the little white walk bridge they built, right? We get to the light.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. We get to the light. The light is red. I stop well before the light. The light goes green. I go through the light. And you know where they keep them empty tractor trailer containers at over there to the right side before you go up the hill?
Yes.
He pulled me over right there. I'm looking at him in my side view mirror. As soon as he got out the car, before the car door could close for his car, he unsnaps his gun thing. And I'm saying, here we go again. I look in the rearview mirror at the boys. They are ashen. And I'm like, man, here we go. Here we go. Part of me saying they got to go through this experience. But the other part of me is saying, will we live to discuss it? He come up to the car. Yeah, you ran that light back there. I said, how? The light was red, officer. Are you getting smart with me? I'm asking a question. He said, I said you ran the light, and that's what it is. My apologies, officer. I got to cop deuces. Huh? Do you all see the movie The Great Debaters? Huh? Did you all see the movie The Great Debaters?
Yeah.
And I'm not asking you literally. This is rhetorically for all of the people out there listening. Because if you didn't see that movie, you need to. In the scene where Forrest Whitaker, a professor, a studious man, has to be put in a moment or is in a moment where he's seen to be less than in front of his son, man. But he has to in order to save his life. Do you understand? I'm done with that. I'm done with that. To this day, my sons have a fear of something that they should not be fearful of at all. You should be fearful of your creator the way we are fearful of a police officer, another man just like me. But he gonna pop his shoulders and overdo it with his authority because he got a gun and a badge and because he can. And like Brother Rich said, because society done said, because you got this, you can do whatever it is that you want to. And we're going to get to that in a second here. I got something in particular I want to read to you all that sums this up, and this is going to be the last thing we come to, but it sums this up. When I say sums it up, it hits the nail. Matter of fact, it hit the nail on the head so much on the head that I hit my thumb. But again, Double J, have your say, man, about this lyrics from my man Mos Def.
Well, I want to emphasize that you've had everything from Strange Fruit to artists like Marvin Gaye, Mos Def, Tupac Shakur, Nipsey Hussle, and countless others that can put you in the driver's seat of what you just described, which is a day in the life. And for many, the disturbing part is it's just a song. Honestly, I would say that's the blissful part. That's the blue pill in the matrix. It's something that they don't have to live with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to know that even Joyner Lucas with I'm Not Racist, simply to be able to fathom, and at this moment, right now as we speak, many are having that quote-unquote appropriate fear of what is to come around this corner next. And now, they're concerned about their safety and very much so. For security of themselves as well, as their loved ones. But it took it to get to this far. Again, we've painted a very clear picture here of events throughout history, songs that can shed light, that were meant to be powerful to kind of steer this ship towards the change of human decency and equality for all that we have yet to see take place. And as someone that's biracial and faced a lot of these same situations that you mentioned, both from driving at a certain period of time in the evening, to knowing that feeling. Dare I say that butt clenching feeling?
Yeah.
When you know they're running your plate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Having a weapon drawn at you. For the large majority of this country, they don't know what that feels like. And boy, as and I'm forgetting his name at the moment, He said, everybody wants to be black until it's time to be black.
Hello.
Paul Moon.
Hello. Say that. Run that by him one more again, Double J.
Everybody wants to be black until it's time to be black.
Yeah. Holla at your boy.
And the disturbing part is that if you look at entertainment, you look at culture, the soul, the nucleus of that comes from the same people that have to look their family member in the eyes to go out to the store without the almost near absolute, without an act of God, certainty that they're going to come back. Mm-hmm. And that's where and why we're at this pivotal fork in the road as a society, that the line has been drawn in the sand and this cannot go on any further.
Absolutely. And, I just want to reiterate and let folks know out there that's listening. This does not have anything. I told you all time and time again, my grandfather taught me, when you deal with people in this world, make sure your first approach is one of character. I prefer character over color any day. Okay? But society won't let me do that on a regular basis. So he said, therefore, I'm going to teach you how to deal with someone whose first impression or first reaction or first approach is color. Then I'll show you how to deal with that too. But he said, I want you to understand and to look at what's a person's character like, because that tells you anything and everything. So we don't want to make this, it's not that we're trying to make this about a black show or a racist show or none of that. What we're trying to explain to you all is the reality that we on this side of the coin, if you want to say that, we got to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And this is what we're doing here, to expressing ourselves and to illustrate and let you all know that if we're talking about humanity, why? See, at the end of the day, man, I'm not looking to be equal. I just want equal opportunity. Period. I don't want your love. I don't want America's love. I love myself. I'm good with who I am. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I don't seek validation from you, from them, and from nobody else. We have to change our way of thinking. So it's not that we're trying to be offensive to anyone or disrespectful to anyone, but this need to be said. And y'all better be glad that we got intelligent and articulate folk on this program, because if you was really in the shop right now, you'd be scared for your life. And it's not that we trying to be funny. We're just saying people are tired, fed up, done with, period. And unfortunately, this is the only thing sometimes, this is the only thing y'all listen to. Why I got to get out my hookup in order for you to take notice? It is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Although we still have time, we are a little bit pressed for time, guys, because there's a few other things I want to get at. So, Leon, I want you to go ahead and give your thoughts on the Mos Def lyrics, but then, be, if you could, be as brief as you can, but of course detailed, so that we can get to a few of these other things as well, so we can get on about here and everybody can go get their rest, get their sleep, cuddle up with their loved ones and whatnot.
Got you. I got you. Well, that was a good little segue into what I'm about to talk about. And what the other gentleman said was very, very well put. As far as back to what I was saying a little bit earlier, like, it's two things that evokes change in this country. And that's a loss of finances or a loss of life. The fear of. So
got you.
When a change comes is when you're already through this coronavirus and also just through the situations, people are tired of seeing a lack of appreciation of humanity thrown in their face through these new videos every day. Almost every day, you're hearing a story about somebody getting murdered. And especially with this last case, the audacity the guy stared at the camera for like the last minute of the video, just staring at it like what you gonna do? And
that's what I hated, the audacity.
So the audacity. So that's a learned behavior. That's something that's been learned throughout history. So until now it's to the point now they're starting to fear not only the loss of resources, but they're also starting to fear the loss of life, because people are fed up. It's like, what more can I do, and what more can I take before I punch back? Because I don't care how much you think somebody a punk or a sucker, they don't get tired of getting hit. And just human nature, you're going to swing back. And now it's a society, we're swinging back. And it might not be the best way to swing back, but you at the point where your back against the wall and you feel like you're not going to keep disrespecting me and belittling me and doing this for generations upon generations. The same thing my grandfather experienced, I shouldn't be experiencing. But yet my child shouldn't be experiencing the same thing. My child, my son at 9 years old, I don't have one, I'm just using an example.
Gotcha.
But at 9 years old, he shouldn't be already have a fear of cops. At 9 years old.
Yes, thank you.
He should already have that ingrained in his mind. Like, it's programmed, it's a learned behavior. And unfortunately, the fear of the police in our community is a learned behavior because that's something we have seen. Just like racism, prejudice, that's a learned behavior. People aren't born racist. It's the environment you're in and the people you're around that molds that mind and ideology and understanding it make me think that this is cool. And now with the George Floyd, like Tupac had a great saying to where he said, I might not change the world, but I'll spark the fire in the person that changes the world. And George Floyd, that video, if it didn't already have the fire was already lit, that's what he set the napalm on it.
That took it to another level.
To where
sure.
Like, even if you was on the border from a humane level, like, wait a minute, that ain't right, man. I'm tired of seeing this. Even if you was on the fence, like on the fence about racism, whatever, that right there, you couldn't ignore that. Then you start doing your research. If you someone to tell you, start doing your research, start saying, wait a minute, is another case? It's another case? It's another case? It's another case? You start looking at the other contemporaries of other races, and you're not seeing these same cases. Then you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm ending with this. Even Dave Chappelle, when he talked about the difference of, like, the ideologies, Dave Chappelle had a joke, but it was some real serious stuff. I can't remember what special was on, when he was talking about that he was riding with his white friend. And his white friend, they put up at a stoplight, and he see a cop car.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now, Dave automatically gets nervous, right? He gets upset. He gets nervous, like, oh, shit. Because they was high. I think they was high, too.
Yeah.
He was like, he got nervous. He's like, oh, shit.
Hey.
His white friend looked at him, was like, he looked at Dave, was like, you know what, Dave? I'm going to race him. Now, as a black man, you wouldn't think about racing no cop and that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But the privilege was like, that's normal. Like, he didn't have no fear of the cop.
Yeah.
And that whole joke was so, it was a great joke, but it was so telling.
It was so real,
The difference of the experiences.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I'm gonna add to your point. I'm glad you said that. When Rush Limbaugh, and we all know who Rush Limbaugh is, when Rush Limbaugh says that the cop who killed or the cops who killed Floyd should be charged with first-degree murder, what does that tell you about America?
Right.
Rush Limbaugh said, and he didn't say it. I've read it. I've seen the video. I quote the quote. And you got to hear him when he say it. You can hear the conviction, him saying it in his voice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying. This wasn't no formal statement like somebody prepared it for him to. He said, "Man,
that was emotion."
He's come on. Listen, how else can I say it? When Rush Limbaugh says that the cop and the cops plural who killed Floyd should be charged with first-degree murder, what does that tell you about the state of America? And what the F does America even mean? What do it stand for? Come on, man. Come on. Regardless of what party you affiliated with or whatnot, when I say Rush Limbaugh, I'm talking about this dude is straight on the side of the Republicans and whatever they supposed to stand for or stood for before I was even born. Or as my daughter would say, before you was boring. Anyway, when this dude come out and say, he didn't say third degree, which is what they trying to charge. They didn't charge him, but they trying to give him third degree. That ain't what they would give you or me. Right. See what I'm saying? He said first degree. And if you know anything about the penal system or whatnot, that 1, 2, 3, that means something. When you first degree, them carry heavy, that's a heavy sentence that come with that. That third degree, you could or you couldn't. It'll go on your record. Yeah. When I saw that, I said, okay, what else do we really need to say? When guys like Rush Limbaugh come out and tell you that dude should have been charged with first-degree murder, they ain't got nothing to do with who color is what color and what color you ain't. That's about what's right is right and what's wrong got to be addressed. You can't just keep doing people as doormats. You can't keep wiping your feet on them and expecting them to tell you, come on in. You just can't do it. You can't do it. It's time. This place the earth needs a cleansing, and it's time. It's time. And again, I am not sitting here advocating for nobody to go out and kill nobody, shoot nobody, stab nobody. That's not what this is about. But again, like King Nebuchadnezzar and the three boys, the moral of the story was, if you're going to stand, stand. If you're going to sit, sit. But today, Jay is not going to waver. Period. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. If I'm going, you going with me. Period. End of story. Let me throw something at you all. Who my man, he always got something to say. And I appreciate him for the stuff that he didn't say, because in his position, he don't have to say the stuff that he didn't came out to say. Neither does Steve Kerr, actually. But I understand, we all know that Kerr's father had a lot to do with the politics and the political landscape and back then in the 60s. What would you call what his father was, Brother Rich? Not a freedom fighter. It's another term for what his father was. But in other words,
he was an ambassador. He worked for. Exactly. He was an ambassador working for the United States government.
Okay, got you. So in other words, guys like Kerr and them, they understand, just from a country unrest, his father was involved in all that kind of stuff back in the day. And his father unfortunately lost his life as a result too. But Spurs coach Greg Popovich said, and these are his exact words, I quote, "If Trump had a brain, even if it was 99% cynical, he would come out and say something to unify people. But he doesn't care about bringing people together. We need a president to come out and simply say, Black Lives Matter." That's Spurs coach Greg Popovich. Gully, what say you about your boy, the Spurs, and GP?
Yeah, he's right. What he said, you still look at him, and based on what he says, it's still polarizing. There's not a time to be polarizing. Like, do you have any idea how strange it is that people who are definitely not on the right, do you have any idea how much people probably would wish we had George Bush at this time? If something like this happens, like that's how polarizing. That's how polarizing he is, and you're right. And it's like there is a time when you got to put down your political persuasion or your perspective, and then start addressing it. I mean, he did say some things, but it seems like for everything else he said, it seemed like it was just lip service. Like he didn't have a conviction about bringing to justice the killers of Mr. Floyd. He didn't have a conviction that Rush Limbaugh had per your description.
Right.
That's a problem. That's a big problem. But Greg Popovich, I don't think he's off base in his opinion of President Trump.
Listen,
and you see how I had to stutter to say President Trump, but I mean, it is what it is.
Folks are tired. Listen, I'm gonna tell you again. This is what I'm getting ready to say here. We've discussed on previous shows in the past, but I feel like I can bring this back up again. When it comes to politics, and I'm not saying I'm better than or less than nobody else on this platform, anybody else that's listening, but I made it a point to take them kind of courses when I was in college, and I took political science. And what I gathered from taking those courses was a politician is a person that can tell you to go to hell in such a manner that you actually look forward to the trip. I'm the hell with the flowery rhetoric, man. That don't work no more. Maybe in 1971, 75, 83, 99, but 2020, that don't work no more, man. Folks want to see reality. They want to see something real, okay? Your actions are belying your words. Period. End of story. Double J, what say you about my man G. Popovich and what he had to say about 45?
Well, thankfully, there are folks in this world that are not afraid to speak up, like Mr. Popovich. This is not his first time either, so I want that to be clear, too, that he has been a great supporter of freedom for all, and most importantly, injustices in whatever way, shape, or form that they happen to take place. He does not hold back. Now, why I specifically say it that way is too many times, this one being no different, if not the most important time for others to exercise their ability to use freedom of speech. Because again, right now, if this is really what's disappointed me is that for sports teams, just that whole entertainment sector, if you will, I know we joke with you, we call you Lil Jerry, but where is Jerry Jones?
Yeah, exactly.
Where
exactly.
is Martha Ford?
Where is Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King?
Absolutely.
Where they at?
Where are those polarizing figures that may not be that tier one that 45, at least as it stands now, is, but they have a large following that they can be a catalyst towards change.
But see,
unfortunately, if your voice is absent when I need you, then I'm going to have to go on without you.
And listen, I'm so glad you said that, because at the end of the day,
too many times. Hey, I'm going to interrupt you on this too, because I'm going to take it a step further.
Okay.
The quarterback position predominantly dominates by white people, and again, I'm going to say it that way. Just that's how it is. That's beginning to change, but as it stands now, that has predominantly been held by a player that is Caucasian. These guys will get you into a circle and tell you, let's go to war for 60 minutes together. You are my brother. With teammates that are predominantly of a different origin and color. And I'm not hearing from too many of them either. So right now, again, the world needs you. You have millions of followers. So individually.
Hey.
And the same people that you say you're going to go to battle for need you right now. It doesn't matter that they're well off. They need you. The society needs you. You won't have the ability to play on Sundays if that stadium is in ashes. But where are you?
If I'm not mistaken, I think Tom Brady did have a few things to say. I wasn't able to read in detail or whatnot, but I do believe Tom Brady did speak out. But I'm to your last point, and now the last thing you, not the last thing, the thing you said before you said the last thing, I can't remember it verbatim, but I wanted to add in that at that point. In other words, you cannot, if it's we're talking about right and wrong, period. You cannot be selective when it comes to right and wrong. Don't be asking for the America's love. Why you don't love us, Uncle Phil? The hell with that. It's about you can't pick and no. It's about, is it wrong? Period. I don't care what your name is, then you got to stand up on the side of what's right, what's righteous, and all those things that are supposed to be good and wholesome, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These folks that ain't speaking out, the ones you pointing out, Double J, and they should be speaking, they putting their head under the sand. Well, I don't really want to lose none of my monies, and I know if I can. No, No. Ali, Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or Bill Russell, and all them other cats back in the 60s, when they came and sat at that table, that's the picture we need to be posting. Do you think them guys, especially during that time, the climate in the country, during that time for a black man or a person of color, however you want to put that, in the country, do you think they cared about their career? And they wasn't making nowhere near the amount of money that these dudes is making now. They came together and made a stand. This ain't the time to be selective, baby. Get on out there and say it. You the commodity anyway. They don't see you as nothing more than that. No how. Say what you got to say. Say what needs to be said. Period. Because it ain't gonna change how they see you. You underdig? It ain't gonna change how they see you. Two, and I want to throw this out there as well. In that movie I was talking about, Brother Rich, with the mantra of the guy was, we need to stand up. He said, stick your head out the window and stand up and say, we're not going to take this shit no more. But who am I to say how you supposed to go about expressing that? You do it in whatever fashion it means you feel necessary. Because at the end of the day, man, we all people. And what gives you the right to roll up on me and snap your little gun belt, and I got my sons in the car, and I know and you know we ain't done nothing for you to even pull me over in the first place? Hey, please don't put me in that position, which is a precarious one I'm about to tell y'all right now, that fight or flight risk. Huh? We done took anthropology, sociology. We done took enough classes in colleges to understand. We know what that mean. That fight or flight. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I ain't trying to go there, man. I want to bounce my grandkids on my knee. I want to play ball, even with bad knees, with my sons and my grandsons, and you know what I'm saying, and go to the park. I want to be able to do all of that. Why I got to deal with this fight or flight, man? Why you pushing me to that? Come on, man. Get up off me. Leon, what say you about my man Greg Popovich and what he had to say?
Well, first of all, that was very well put. Mr. Barbershop J, that was very well put.
I appreciate you. I'm glad you ain't call me Jerry.
But
it's all good. It's all good.
I got another nickname for you.
Oh boy.
You know what nickname I call you every day,
yeah.
But I ain't gonna say it on here.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, Greg Popovich, as Double J said, he always has been a spokesperson for change, a spokesperson for equality and stuff like that, especially when it comes to equal rights, because you only can be blind for so long before it's shoved in your face, before your humanity speaks to you, and you're able to say, wait a minute, that ain't right, man. That ain't right. That ain't cool, man. And you keep saying it, and you keep saying it, and you see that now you can't have no choice, but you can't put your head in the sand no more. You gotta more people are picking their heads up and saying, wait a minute, hold up, this ain't right. This ain't right. But it's funny you mentioned something about Double J mentioned something about more white athletes as far as from the standpoint of who in prominent positions not speaking out. And I had read something a couple of days ago. I think Tom Brady spoke out and Joe Burrow spoke out.
Yes, Joe Burrow sure did. But, I love what Joe Burrow said. And he ain't even started getting his money yet.
And that was right. He a young person. He's 23, 24 years old. He's speaking out. Man, Brady's speaking out, but nobody else really speaking out. And I read an article talking about how not only just athletes, but a lot of entertainers or the moguls like an Oprah or Tyler Perry or people like that, they're more worried about their brand, which said people and says system to where them speaking out for change doesn't benefit them. Because they're more worried about a brand more than humanity. More like even a shit like Oprah and even Gayle, they built their whole thing on equality, especially Oprah and women's rights and stuff like that. But when it comes to something that doesn't benefit you, you have no stake in it. But when it can benefit you by exploiting black men, then through the R. Kelly and other documentaries that you try to make.
Yeah, and the Kobe.
But you're silent on this stuff. and the Kobe thing, and you're silent on this. You know what I mean? I learned a long time ago, don't believe when people tell you who they are. Believe who they show you that you are.
That's right.
Show you they are.
Say that again. Say that again.
Showing our community who she was, because you have power, you have influence. But the funny thing is, like, the people who are speaking out, especially people on that high level, have you noticed they're trying to get people to get back in line through their messages, though? Like, y'all need to calm down, y'all need to relax.
Oh, of course.
We need to come together. They're speaking the peace because somebody, they're ahead of them, the system, whoever the case may be, whoever got something on them, they're able to tell them, hey, man, talk to your people, man. But people ain't trying to hear that. The people are sinners every day, and how dare you sit from your high horse and tell me what I should do to appease you and appease the people who paying you, or appease, the system when we're tired of it. You're not at our point, so how can you tell us? You used to be down here, but you got to a certain status, and you feel like, and it goes back to the Mos Def song, no matter how much what you attain, no matter how much success you get, in their eyes, you still the N-word.
That's why I wish one of them would tell me if I was at a network and wanted to go talk to your people. No, you talk to them. You the reason why they need to be talked to. You do it.
But see, it goes back. It goes back to also the foundation you have as a human being morally. The people who are speaking out who aren't of our color, because they have a good foundation morally.
Right.
And when you build a house, it don't matter how what you build up, if the foundation ain't right, it's not gonna work. The house gonna fall.
Exactly.
So a lot of people who already have the good foundation, or now they're sitting back questioning themselves, like not themselves, but just the people they're around, people they know, and the behaviors they have, like, and they're checking themselves, like, dang, I didn't think about it like that, or I didn't know. Because a lot of people don't know, because you haven't experienced something of this caliber. How would you know it? Unless you been around a black person, seen that system, or just grow up in an environment to where you used to seeing that and it's normal.
Exactly.
So now the things that we've been seeing growing up as kids, or, because even before we had our really first experience, we became normalized to a fear of the cops. Did you ever think about that?
Yeah, right.
You walk down the street with your
right.
You can be walking down the street with your friends. You 7 years old on your bike, and you see a cop, got two black guys handcuffed on the floor, or you see them beat up or something, and you walking by, another kid might think, what happened? Another kid might be, oh, that's the cops beat up something such. And you change the conversation because that's normal.
That's normal, and that should not be normal.
You had your first experience, and it shouldn't be. By the time you had your first experience, you already built up that fear throughout years. So when you finally had that experience, you finally come across that, it's a familiar fear.
It's expected,
and that's been exactly all the different levels of not only witnessing that, but now you feeling that, the emotion of it, the humility, the humiliating factor of it, the no control aspect of it. Because I told you about, like, on my podcast, I told a story about the two cases that I wanted to talk about, and I had some other cases besides then. But my first situation was at 16, and I got caught the N-word. I got forearms shoved back of my neck, and I was doing nothing wrong. I was walking down the street, minding my business. But this cop, because he was having a bad day or whatever the case may be, decided he wanted to mess with me because I fit a description, and I felt that humiliating factor of getting pulled over, thrown in the back of the car, called out my name, having him run my name. And it's the kicker. The dude ran my name 4 times because he wanted them to keep looking for something, because he thought I had something on my record, and so he wanted them to keep running it. He was that ignorant, tried to get me wrapped up in something. But I did nothing wrong.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate.
And the kicker part, at the end of it, before they released me, the dispatcher came back to him through the system, like describing the system, came back to him and told him, I can't find out on him, release him at your leisure. And at 16, I knew what that meant. At your leisure, basically, whenever you're done with me, let me go. So I was at your disposal at that point.
Yeah.
So with so many brothers who had that experience, and then dealing with a president and Donald Trump, why would he want him to change? Because he's built his whole campaign on on Make America Great Again, and he spoke to the insecurities of the country, of the people who felt like they were losing control. That's how he got elected. He went and talked to the people who was already spoke to their insecurities, whether it's been a racist, prejudice, hateful, whatever. Because a lot of the spots he won was basically hillbilly country or privileged country. People who didn't want to give up that little power. So it don't benefit him to speak out and say something positive because his whole campaign is built on destruction, built on breaking down whatever he thought Obama did or the Democrats did, not what was right. And now this is just he just now the lid on the pot that's been boiling and it's busted.
Yeah, well, and it's lending itself to whatever his personal agenda is, or personal hate or disdain towards Obama. You done turned your attention to that. That's what you done gave all your attention, and now the country being ran in the ground. Brother Rich, before you, I want to get your thoughts, of course, on that. But before you say anything, let me add on a good note, if we could say a good note here in this case. If you didn't know, the United Healthcare Group, the United with the blue letters, the United Healthcare Group, that blue symbol, they said they will pay for the college education of George Floyd's children, and they putting up $10 million to help the cities damaged by the rioting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So kudos to them for doing that. That's a good thing.
That's dope.
Yeah, in this case, I wanted to throw that out there as well. And then we got one more before we get out of here. But Brother Rich, go ahead. I want you to weigh in on the Greg Popovich. If Trump had a brain.
I'm going to take a little different look at it. I'm going to take a little different look at it. I think America has the perfect president. I think that America has the president that we deserve. I think we have, if we had Obama, he could have smoothed this over, and we would have never addressed the division and how deep they really are in this country. We would have never faced ourselves. America needs to face herself, and Donald Trump is perfect for America to look herself in America and say in the mirror and say, "Is this who you are, America?
Yeah,
Is this the ugliness that has been the underbelly of America all along? And now look at these fissures. And now let's pay attention to this, listeners. Let's pay attention to this, co-host. Let's pay attention to the fact that the generation that is in these streets today, all over America and all over the world, they're young people. They don't have a leader. They don't believe in their parents. They don't go to church. They don't believe in politics. Everything has let them down. They understand that politics and economics has been imbalanced against them. Their futures have been mortgaged and pawned off for the present day oligarchs and for these fascist leaders all over the world. So our children are saying, enough is enough. And we don't care if we burn down your stores. Look at the hypocrisy that we are actually debating about stores, and the world watched a man count down his life on camera. When a police officer, an officer of the state, a person charged by the state to keep the peace, broke the peace. Who broke the peace of this country? It was the police, the peacekeepers. So Donald Trump is perfect. Donald Trump is a police keeper. He loved the police. He wanted to murder them. He said, when the looting stops, let the shooting stop. This is Trump's America, because this is America. Let's not pretend that this is not America. I'm glad that the president Trump is the president. I salute you, sir. Go on right on ahead with your
real. That's real spit. This is why we do what we do, y'all. Y'all listen to the Shop Report with Barbershop J, D Gully, Brother Rich, Double J, and my cat L Dog. Fellas, this is the last one before we get out of here. And again, I want to say, man, I appreciate y'all for coming on, man. This is fire. This is what motivate me. You know what I mean? Hearing the truth. You know what I mean? In the different personalities, man. You know, we always talk about dynamic. You know what I mean? And dynamic is dynamic today, baby. I just wanted to say. But I want to ask you all. Have you all seen the TV show? It's on AMC. Now, I don't watch it. Actually, I have what's called YouTube TV, right? And you know me, I'm just watching sports, or it's another show come on called Disasters of the Sea. chronicles old shipwrecks and things. That kind of stuff just fascinates me. You know, it gives me an appreciation for the people who lost their lives, you know, on behalf of us and everything and so on and so forth. Look, because, Leon, you were in the Navy and whatnot. But I'm watching, and I'm not going to lie, sometimes I binge watch Charlie's Angels. Hey, back in the day. But it's a commercial that comes on, and one of the commercials that came on while I was watching my program was a promo for a show called In the Line of Duty, or Line of Duty. It comes on AMC. And I don't usually watch the commercials. I usually record my shows and I kind of skip through them, but I'm watching it for whatever reason this time. And not just wow. What the line that the guy said, I said, wow, that's crazy that we even get ready to discuss this on the show today. And I heard this guy say that. Let me tell you what one of the guys said in the promo. And you know, y'all know how the promos go. You know, they telling you, giving you scenes from the show or whatever it is, and you know, upcoming and all that old kind of stuff. The guy says, and I quote, "The easiest way to get away with killing someone, become a police officer."
Wow.
It's on AMC. Let me read that again to y'all. Some of y'all was out there maybe sitting in the back playing PlayStation and all that good stuff, Xbox. The easiest way to get away with killing someone is to become a police officer. Now, see, some of y'all think that that's just television and art imitates life. Yeah, they do. But guess what? The people who write the scripts for these stories, they really feel that way. Just because it's in front of a camera, don't let it fool you that day. That's exactly what he said. I had to stop it and kind of rewind it. I got a little rewind option. I said, whoa, let me make sure I write that down for today. The easiest way to get away with killing someone is to become a police officer. Now let that marinate. Tell you how they really feel, how their hearts really feel. But y'all talking about some, burning stuff down and all of that. Don't let the burning of the buildings distract you from what was really happening. What the real problem is, like my man, Brother Rich, just pointed out. Murder by those who are supposed to be so law-abiding and so on and so forth. That's what I don't get. I'm a law-abiding citizen, but who breaking the law here in this case? And again, another reason why I mentioned the movie The Great Debaters, the gist towards the end of the debate, it was about law. I love that scene. And the whole point of it was, don't tell me don't do this or do this because it's quote unquote the law. The question I have is the law just or unjust? Well, you shouldn't do that. Why? Because it's the law. Is the law just or unjust? That's the conversation we need to be having, Joe. Huh? Yeah. Miss me with your unjust laws because they, quote unquote, the law. If it ain't right, you're going to hear from me. Period. Point blank in the story. The easiest way to get away with killing someone is to become a police officer. Really? That's what y'all writing in the script now? But it's just a script. Man, I ain't buying that bullshit. Man, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Fellas, as always, I want to thank y'all, man, for joining me on the program today, man. It's been fun. It's always a good deal. Gully, you still with us? I'm grateful. I'm glad. Double J, Brother Rich, you know what I'm saying? I'll make sure I'm going to call Jerry for y'all, tell him to give y'all two extra tickets in the parking lot for the Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Because it won't be the Browns and the Cowboys. I tell you, you and Double J, y'all going to have to get y'all some Madden tickets, baby. You understand what I'm saying? Because there won't be no parade down 45th Street. You under dig? Yeah, and on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget to check us out right here on the Spreaker.com network. You go to the search box, you type in the Shot Report. And while you're there, please subscribe. Or you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast and give us a follow. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as dropping us your comments, suggestions via email, theshotreport365@gmail.com. And we also have a website now. Double J, I told you that I'm going to put together that WordPress business thing sooner rather than later, I hope. But yes, our website is theshopreport.com. And if that don't work, Google it. Once again, for my mans B Rich, Double J, D Gully, L Dog, and all those who follow and support us, we say thank you. I'm Barbershop J, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. And remember, anytime you want to know what's going on, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla.